I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and in this very special episode of Jeep News, we're out here at the LA Auto Show for the big reveal of the Jeep Gladiator, finally the Jeep truck. We're actually going to be getting our hands on one of these Jeeps so we can answer a lot of questions you guys have. We're also, of course, going to be doing a giveaway. It wouldn't be Jeep News without it, but for now, let's get to the big reveal. So here we are, this is where the big reveal is going down on the stage right behind me. I'm really excited to see what Jeep has to say about the new Gladiator.
Legends are long shadows of those who loom large. Who's writing the new legends? The tales of old have had their run. Now, it's your turn.
Ladies and gentlemen, head of Jeep Brand North America, Tim Kuniskis.
Good morning. I know you're expecting me to come out here, stand on this stage, and tell you you're going to see something that the world's never seen before. But the truth is, I'm going to show you something that the Jeep brand offered from 1947 practically continuously until 1992. Whether you called it a forward control or a Gladiator, a Scrambler or a Comanche, what you had was a Jeep truck. And we think it's time for Jeep to have a truck again. Mike Manley barely had the cover off the Wrangler last year, and people were already asking, what about the truck? This brand has the most vocal fan base on earth, and they've been prodding us through every imaginable channel for years. And that's where the truck comes in. This brand knew all along they needed a Gladiator. This is the all-new Jeep Gladiator. This is the most anticipated Jeep product in recent history. Gladiator is 100% truck, 100% Jeep, and 100% original. For people who embrace the freedom of an adventure-filled life, Gladiator is the only truck on the planet that gives consumers the legendary Jeep 4x4 capability, best-in-class towing and payload, and an open-air experience that draws you into the adventure instead of just being a passenger. From the fold-down aluminum frame windshield, to the removable aluminum doors, to the unique storage solutions. Inside, you're going to find everything that allowed the new Wrangler to earn accolades and set sales records. We also leveraged FCA's relationship with Apple to provide the latest generation of Apple CarPlay. And if you're an Android user, we have you completely covered too with Android Auto. We've even added a detachable Bluetooth wireless speaker. The Gladiator arrives with over 80 standard and available safety and security features. We set out to deliver a truck that's nothing short of best in class, with the capability to tow 7,650 pounds and carry 1,600 pounds. The versatility of a bed was a natural fit. Jeep and truck go together like peanut butter and jelly, bacon and eggs, and Guns N' Roses. And if there's one thing that Gladiator gives access to the truck segment, it's 4x4 capability. There's one name that was born to put the trails on notice. It's a word that stands for taking capability to the next level. And now you'll also find it on the hood of this. This is the all-new Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. What you have right here is the most capable mid-size truck ever.
So the Gladiator has been officially revealed, and here we are standing next to one of 3 different trim levels. There's going to be the Sport, the Overland, and the Rubicon. We'll get to the Rubicon in just a second. This is the Overland, which is a little bit more of a Sahara, a little bit more of a comfort feel, a little bit more of that comfortable stuff. Everything from the front seats forward is pretty much what we're used to with the JL, but the back is going to be a little bit different. One of the things that we thought we might be getting is actually a pass-through from the bed into the back seat area. Some trucks have done that in the past when they have a smaller bed, but this is not the case. These seats do fold and they do tumble, but you're not going to have a pass-through from the bed, which not necessarily better or worse, just something that was interesting. It does have a 3-piece hardtop top here that is going to be completely removable. It looks like it bolts down to the top of the tub in the same way that the JL does, so nothing really all that new there. One of the other things that I noticed right off the bat is right here, this thing has a fuel door on it, which is a first in a very long time. Usually you just have that open fuel filler cap, which gives the Jeep a little bit more of that rugged look that you're used to seeing on a Jeep. So this is going to have a little bit more of a finished off look right from the factory by having this fuel door installed. Another thing that we were really interested to see up close and personally is the sliding window here. We could see that from some of those leaked pictures and of course from the reveal, but exactly how that works, if it's powered. So this is not a power slider. It slides like some of the older pickup trucks would have, but it does slide, and that's going to provide a lot of air through the back of the Jeep if you do have the hardtop still installed. And the glass does have a defrost built all the way back through it. So on those cold days, you're going to be able to see out the back of the Jeep, which of course is going to be pretty important. So we're back here at the tailgate of the Jeep. I'm going to go ahead and pop this open here. So there's a little bit of a pneumatic assist, so it's not going to slam down. That's pretty standard for newer trucks these days. As you can see, this has a bed liner in it. I don't know if that's going to be a standard feature, if that's going to be an option, but it is a spray-in bed liner, so it's going to be nice and tough. You have some bed lights in there. There's also a 120 volt outlet over there, so of course there's an onboard inverter. You're going to be able to utilize that for any power that you might need in the back here. And this one also has a tonneau cover on it. We figured there would be some tonneau covers for this, being that it is a truck bed, but again, we don't know if this is going to be factory, an option, or if it's going to be a standard feature. But what it is a roll-up tonneau cover, and for those of you that aren't that familiar, there are a bunch of different kinds: hard, roll-up, fold-up, bifold, trifold. So this is going to be a roll-up, which gives you the opportunity to keep part of it down if you just have some gear in the back near the tailgate here, or you can completely roll it up out of the way and put some bigger stuff in the bed. So something that's kind of cool about the JT is that the tailgate of course comes all the way flat like you would expect it to, but if you're carrying something larger, you can actually hook the tailgate cables, have the tailgate at a little bit of an angle. That way if you have plywood or 2x4s or something that you want on a little bit of an angle so it's not going to be as apt to slide out of the bed, you have the ability to do that. That's not something that I've seen even on a lot of regular pickup trucks, so it is pretty interesting. Now we'll get this closed, and what you would expect to see on the back of the Jeep is obviously missing. There is no spare tire here, but where that is underneath, as with most modern pickup trucks. You do have a little bit of an area here for a crank to go that'll drop that spare tire down. And in true Jeep fashion, you're gonna have some big tow hooks in the back here. Of course, with the big towing capacity, you have your factory hitch on the back of the truck, making this thing very, very useful. This is something that's gonna be brand new on the JT that we haven't seen before on any modern Jeep. Well, you can see up top here, the handle, it is a locking tailgate. You have your third brake light built right into that, and it's not going to be on the back of the cab because unlike with most trucks, that back of the cab is removable. If you take your hard top off or you have the soft top, you can't have the light up there, so this is a pretty nice solution for that. Of course, you have a big Jeep logo across the back of the tailgate there, and they actually did a pretty nice job of integrating the rear backup camera as well. Normally this would be hidden inside of that spare tire that's on the back of the tailgate, like on the JL, and it makes it pretty easy to hide it in there. With this, they had to integrate it into the tailgate itself, but again, I think they did a pretty clean job of it. You notice it, but it doesn't stick out nearly as bad as it could otherwise. And with the Rubicon, you're also going to have a front-facing camera in the grille, which is a pretty cool option. So a couple other things I noticed right off the bat about this bed area, aside from the mechanism here for that tonneau cover to attach to, is the bed rail system. So this looks like you have a couple of different tie downs. You can loosen up this large thumb screw and slide those along this T-track. You also have another one along the front here. Again, I'm not sure exactly what's going to be factory, what's going to be options, what's going to be something you'll have to purchase from Mopar after the fact, but this is going to be a really clean way of tying anything down into the bed. So they really did think about a lot of different things when building this bed for the JT. So one of the things that we were really interested to see after some of those leaked pictures was what the roll cage was actually going to look like on the new JT. And as you can see it here, it's still going to provide a full roll cage coming all the way back to the C-pillar here, but it doesn't have a bar that goes across the back here, just a hoop across the middle. So that leaves plenty of headroom in the back here for any passengers that might be sitting in the back. And this is also going to be where that soft top is going to be attached to. Now, it's really interesting. I was trying to see where that soft top actually lives when it's folded down, if it was going to be down in this area or where, because a lot of even the video didn't show a lot of those soft tops in the folded down position, but there was one, and it looked like it actually lives right up in this area here, which Doesn't look the best in my opinion. That might have been just the configuration that they had in that one video. I don't know, we'll have to see. However, you can see that there are some holes here that I'm sure is where that soft top frame is going to attach to. So whether it lives up here or if a lot of people are going to be removing them completely to give a much cleaner look like that is yet to be seen. So we already got a good number of specs about a week ago when some information was leaked about the Gladiator, and nothing has really changed after the reveal here today. So we know that the 3.6 liter is what this thing is going to ship with in 2019, with the 3.0 liter diesel available in 2020. The nice thing about the diesel is that it's going to put it down around 440 foot-pounds of torque, which is a ton, especially for a light little Jeep like this. So that's going to make towing something that's going to be a lot easier. If you are toward the top of the payload or the towing capacity on the Jeep, having all that torque is going to help you get off the line. So it will be interesting to see how this thing handles with that diesel motor. So one of the great things about the Gladiator is that it's not just a useless bed thrown onto a JL. This thing has real truck pulling capacity and payload capacity. Again, over 7,600 pounds of towing capacity and 1,600 pounds of payload capacity. As you can see here, we have 2 dirt bikes thrown up in the bed of this thing and strapped down. It's going to be able to handle a ton of weight in the bed as well as a ton of weight on the hitch. This is the Rubicon, so of course it has all the features of the Rubicon, that rock track transfer case, the 84:1 gear ratio. It has the big 33-inch tires, the taller fenders. But one thing that is different about the Rubicon model on the JT that you're not going to find on the JL is the high-speed off-road mode. So what you're going to be able to do is go a little bit faster with the rear locker engaged and not the front locker engaged, with these sway bars still connected. So you're going to be able to buzz around in that loose terrain, in the rocks, in the sand, with a trailer, with payload, whatever it might be. And that really just comes down to what this Jeep was designed for, and it is going to be a toy hauler for a lot of people, where the JL is going to be more of a crawler for the majority of people that are going off-road. So that new mode makes a lot of sense for the JT, and I personally am excited to be able to try it out. So the Rubicon model does have a proprietary Fox shock, so that is a Fox by Jeep or Jeep by Fox, depending on how you want to look at it. But they're going to be tuned specifically for this vehicle to be able to handle the payload, be able to handle the towing capacity, but also give you the most comfortable ride possible. So it'll be interesting to get behind the wheel of one of these things, see how it actually feels on the road, off the road, when it's loaded and when it's unloaded. Other than that, I did lay underneath this thing real quick, as it has the new Dana 44 axles, locked front and rear on this Rubicon here. It is really interesting to get underneath this thing and see that it has a small bullet style muffler coming down the driver's side here and a big full-size 33-inch spare underneath of it. It's not something we're used to seeing on a Jeep. So it was great to finally get up close and personal with the Gladiator. This thing is really everything I expected it to be and more. I'm really impressed with what Jeep was able to do, but that's just looking at it. I haven't driven the thing yet. Again, I'll be really interested to see how it feels and what kind of balance they were able to strike between that on-road comfort and all of the functionality that you're supposed to be able to get out of a Jeep truck. But like I said, a lot of questions were answered when we were able to get up close and personal with this thing in real life, but we're gonna get even more questions answered in an interview with Tim, the guy that you saw on stage here talking all about the Gladiator before the reveal actually happened. So we're gonna be able to ask him a couple of questions. Let's get over to that. So I'm here with Tim Kuniskis, who is the head of Jeep brand North America. Tim, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I think you did a really, really nice job in the interview of explaining why the Gladiator, why you guys brought back a Jeep truck after almost 30 years, but can you give us a little bit more insight into that?
Well, a couple things. Number one, we needed to bring a truck that was a credible mid-sized truck and not just a Wrangler with a bed. The Scrambler, which everybody thought we were going to call it a Scrambler, was a Wrangler with a bed.
Right.
The Gladiator was a dedicated truck. And that's why we chose the name Gladiator, so people would know, hey, this is a truck first, and then it's a Jeep second. But what enabled that really was the car that you saw last year, the JL.
Right.
So that platform and everything, the technology that went into that enabled the truck to be that much better than it would have been before. So timing was perfect.
Obviously, we are a company who offers aftermarket parts for Jeeps, so we're very excited to see a new platform for the aftermarket to sort of play catch up and do what they do to it, work their magic. You guys spend a ton of time and energy building something like this. Can you tell me what you might be excited or at least interested to see the aftermarket do with the new platform?
Well, the beauty of the aftermarket is you guys have the ability to do things that we can't do. We would love to do, by the way, but we can't. So we're going to launch, and we're going to have 200 Mopar accessories available at launch. But you have the ability to go beyond anything that we can do.
Now you mentioned lift kits, having the Mopar lift kit available at launch, which is really great to see. Is this truly a 1500 platform? Is a lift kit from the truck, because that was rumored, is that something that's going to cross over at all, or is this going to be stuff that's going to have to be completely engineered from the ground up for the Gladiator?
No, this is actually, the frame of this is a modified version of the JL.
Oh, okay.
So the lift kit is actually a modified version of the JL lift kit.
Interesting.
It's not, it has nothing to do with the Ram truck.
Okay. We've been seeing a lot of calls for a two-door version of this and also for a factory V8. Do you have any information about either of those maybe upcoming?
I love that comment, because
Yeah.
if you look at what goes on with the Wrangler and you look at the two-door, and you have a two-door, two-door's awesome, but if you look at our sales, four-door obviously dramatically outsells a two-door.
It does.
And you hear people ask for vehicles, but if you can't make a business case, if you can't sell enough volume to pay back the investment, as much as we would like to do it, you just won't see it. You can't do it. Man, we would love to do a V8. We all know it fits. The aftermarket does it. The problem is, back to the regulations that I have to deal with, that we have to deal with, is we have to pass all the crash test standards. So it fits perfectly, but when it fits perfectly, it takes up all the airspace in there, so you can't have a crush zone for impact testing. But we know that that buyer is out there, and we want to make sure we're going after them. So we've talked to a lot of them, and what we came to the conclusion is they're not looking for the high horsepower, they're looking for the torque, because they're not looking to drag race these things, they're looking to take them off-road.
Exactly.
And all of the aftermarket conversions, unless they're the real extreme ones, they're in the 400 to 500 pound-feet of torque range is really where they're settling in. Whether it's a 5.7 or a 392 or God forbid one of those other engines that I won't mention that are very common. When we bring the 3-liter diesel, you're going to be at 442 pound-feet of torque, so you're going to be right in that sweet spot that they're looking for. So we think we're going to be able to give them that performance.
So I'm very, very excited to start modifying them, driving them, and wheeling them. You've had these things off-road. We've seen the video footage. Do they wheel as well as I hope it does?
We wouldn't put Rubicon on the hood if it couldn't do the trail, so it did it.
Perfect. Well, I'm very, very excited. Thank you so much, Tim, again, for taking the time. Thank you. So now it's time for everybody's favorite part of Jeep News. We're going to be giving away another $150 gift card, good for anything on ExtremeTerrain.com. And all you need to do in order to enter is two things. First, comment below, and what you're going to be commenting about is pretty obvious on this video. What do you think about the JT? Now that it's not just leaked pictures, now that we've actually had hands on the vehicle, what do you think about it? Are you going to buy one? What questions do you have? Let us know in the comments down below. And the other thing you need to do in order to enter is, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you're going to not only be entered to win, but also be up to date on the best Jeep content out there.